One of the relationship killers is resentment. This is something I talk about every day on my channel because a lot of people don't understand what resentment is and how it lives inside of you. I refer to resentment as the silent killer, similar to high blood pressure. Resentment will sit in you. And instead of addressing it, a lot of us just feel like, okay, I know it's there, but I'm just going to live with it. But if you do not address resentment, it would not only negatively impact your relationship, but even worse, it negatively impacts you. Resentment can look different for men and women. A lot of times when I'm working with women, the resentment that they feel towards their partner, they still feel like they're showing up, but they're just going through the motions. They may be a little bit more critical of their partner, have contempt, have defensiveness, and be stonewalling, but to them, they're still showing up the best way they can in the relationships. A lot of times with men, we are very critical, but then we also just put our head down and do what we got to do and feel like, hey, you know what? I'm going to work, I'm coming home, I'm taking care of my responsibilities. But deep down, there is resentment there that you really don't know what it is or how to address it, which is a shame for both partners. So both of you may be dealing with it, but both of you feel like, hey, I'm showing up every day for the relationship, which is my responsibility. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. No one ever sat down and told you, hey, it's resentment that's killing your relationship. Oftentimes we will look and say, oh, it's a communication breakdown. But if you can't communicate your emotions or communicate what's going on inside of you, your relationship will not last or it will not be fulfilling. In my practice, one thing that I do when I'm working with couples is I'm very confrontational, head on about what's going on inside of you. And it's not what the other person did. It's more of a mirror for you to address, hey, this is what's going on inside of me that I gotta let out. Often in relationships, people are scared to tell the other person how they feel because they feel like they're going to be responsible for their reaction. They may respond by being sad. They may get angry because of what you're saying. So in a therapeutic setting, I allow both people to get out what's bothering them, what's going on inside in a safe environment. So we're going to create boundaries of saying, hey, listen, whatever the other person says, we're just going to listen. We're not going to respond. We're just going to give them an opportunity to get what they need to get off their chest. A lot of times that is beneficial for the therapy session and for the relationship. When couples are talking about what's going on inside of them, the one thing that I tell them to do, hey, let's label it. Are you feeling sad? Are you mad? Are you frustrated at your partner? And again, this is not meant to be an attack on the partner. This is meant to have a platform to talk about what's going on inside of you. Because if you don't speak it, if you don't let it out, it doesn't just go away. It just lives inside of you. And that's not beneficial for you or your partner. So if you are someone who's dealing with resentment, one thing I want you to do is understand being silent about it is not helping you. Your friends, your family, and social media will not tell you this, but I'm going to tell you. It is not your partner's responsibility to fix how you feel. It is your partner's responsibility to address how you're feeling, to validate how you're feeling, and listen to you. But if you are expecting your partner to fix you, fix whatever problem it is inside of you, that is not fair to them and is definitely not fair to you. You have got to understand that if you have something going on, even if it's caused by the other person, that is something for you to work on, for you to heal, but they cannot make you heal. I feel a lot of times in relationships, because we are a couple, you may look at your partner and be like, hey, you need to make me feel better, which I can understand. But when that plays out, it's not a good outcome because it's totally dependent on the other person instead of you empowering yourself and saying, okay, listen, this is what I need to do to make me feel better. The beautiful thing about working with couples is I get to discuss things that they probably never thought about. And one of the first places I start is, hey, do you feel safe in your relationship? And we define what safety is. And next, we talk about how you address conflict in the relationship in a safe way. Often people are defensive when they hear their partner critiquing them on something. So I try to create an environment to where when you're addressing something, we're talking about how I feel. We're saying I feel statements. It's not about the other person. We're not pointing the finger. It's just saying, hey, when this happens, I feel in whatever it is. And that way, it's not an attack. It is just addressing an issue. Next, I talk to the other partner about how to not be defensive, right? It's not an attack. So if everything somebody says you feel like you have to defend or you have to explain, you're not going to get anywhere, as opposed to just listening to the other person. Now, just to be clear, we're just not going to let the other person dog you out and just totally just ride you to the ground. No, but we are going to take a step back and we're going to listen and we're going to validate what the other person is saying. You don't have to agree with what they're saying, but you can just be like, hey, you know what? I feel you on that, because likely in what they are saying, there is some truth to it. Unfortunately, a lot of times in these situations, we try to find all the discrepancies and we focus on that. But if you focus on what the other person is saying is right and use that as a starting point, it will help the communication a lot. When I learned how to address what's going on inside of me and understanding it's not my partner's responsibility to fix it, my life, my relationships grew tremendously, because I started to understand that when somebody's saying something, somebody's telling me how they feel, I don't have to take it as an attack. I can just listen and validate what they're saying. I focus on, hey, what about what they're saying is right? And I say, hey, you know what? You actually got a point there. Even though there are some points that I may disagree with, I understand what's more valuable is that person feeling like they're heard and feeling like we have stuff that we agree on. And that creates the foundation. And whenever there is a discrepancy, I do not come in a confrontational tone. I let them get what they got to get off their chest. And then I say, hey, I hear what you're saying, but this is the way I view that. And regardless of how the other person responds, I got to remain grounded. I'm responsible for my emotions and my reactions. I may not be responsible for theirs, but I'm responsible for me. And at this point in my life, I'm not trying to argue with nobody. I'm not trying to fight. I'm here to have a peaceful life. And if you want peace, you have to be that peaceful person. That can't be reliant on your partner. So guys, if you like what you're hearing, as always, like, click, subscribe, join the channel. Take care. Peace.